Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I guess all of you know me, but you probably don't know anything about me. Maybe one or two of you, know stuff about me. But anyway, so a little bit of background on me. I was raised in a Christian home. My parents, when I was growing up, were members of a PCA church, and there's never a time in my life where I did not believe in God, but certainly the majority of my life I didn't follow Christ, didn't live like a Christian, was not a Christian. Believed in God, but wasn't a Christian. Fast forward a few years until my mid-20s. In my mid-20s, well, actually my early 20s, got heavily involved in drugs, very, very heavily involved in drugs. Had a severe drug problem for a long time. And the drug problem ultimately led to me being, January in 2005, I caught 3 felony charges, and I was incarcerated for 43 months. And after that was released, and did good. Well, I say did good. That wasn't really good. Did good as in the sense of not being in trouble with the law for about 4 years. So from June of 2008 to April of 2012, I managed to keep myself out of prison. But certainly during that time, I wasn't doing anything that God would have wanted me to do. So I was just living in the world, just doing everything that I wanted to do. I was a very selfish person. I was a drug addict. April of 2012, I decided it would be a good idea to rob a pharmacy, and I did. By the grace of God, I was caught, turned into Crime Stoppers by my aunt, went to prison for another 3.5 years. But it was during this time in prison that I felt God's call. Like I said, never had a time in my life I didn't believe in God, but never really felt a need to follow God and do anything that God wanted me to do. But during the second time of prison, I felt the Lord's call. Started reading my Bible, didn't really know why I was supposed to read my Bible, just felt like I needed to do it. So I started reading my Bible, wasn't a Christian yet. Started reading my Bible and started trying to live a moral life, still didn't know why. So October of 2015, October the 1st, I was released from the South Carolina Department of Corrections. And Devin and Melissa are on the board of directors for a home here in Rock Hill, which is called the Zacchaeus House, and it's a home for guys who are getting out of prison and who are trying to get their life back together and want to grow spiritually and just become productive members of society again. So I was approved and accepted to come to the house. It was on a Thursday. I was released. I met Devin and Melissa the very next day. And just immediately, Devin and Melissa began just discipling me very heavily. The first day I met them, they just started pouring into me. They took a genuine interest in my life, and Devin and I used to meet at Chick-fil-A here in Rock Hill. We were going over a book together. I could tell that they really cared about me. And so one of the things that, if you know anything about Devin and Melissa, they're very big on having good theology. They're big on apologetics, but they're also very big on having good theology. Like I said, he was discipling me, and then he invited me like the first week, I think, to start coming to Ratio Christi. He invited me to come, and so I started coming to Ratio Christi, and just fell in love with apologetics. Never even knew that it existed prior to meeting him. He introduced me to it, and so prior to meeting them, had you ever asked me, why did I believe in God? would not have been able to give you an answer because my mom and dad believed in God, you know. So I wouldn't have been able to give you an answer that would have stood up to any scrutiny. So just got involved with Ratio Christi, found out what apologetics is, fell in love with it, found out that so anyway, backtrack a little bit. I met them on a Friday. The very next day, which was October the 3rd, which is a Saturday, Devin and Melissa were going over some scriptures with me in the Bible, John 17, Ephesians 1, Romans 9, and John 6:44, which says, Jesus says that no one can come to me unless the Father first draws him. So it was that night that kind of just, it's kind of like a light bulb went off in my head. I could see sin for what it was. I could see mankind as being, you know, sinful and depraved, and I could see God for being this holy and just being, and that there was this huge gap in between us and God, and how Jesus bridged that gap. So it was that night that God saved me. And so, you know, he invited me to Ratio Christi, started learning about apologetics, and just, it's done nothing but strengthen my faith by showing me like that you can have faith in Christianity because it stands up to scrutiny. Like, it stands up to what we claim that it is. There's reasons why we can believe that Christianity is true, you know, historical reasons, Big Bang cosmology, teleological argument, moral argument, all these reasons why Christianity is true. Like, it's not just, you know, just to gotta have faith. Well, yeah, you gotta have faith, but it's faith based on logic and reason, you know. So, yeah, it's just been, now that I can look back on it, I can see that it was God ordained that I would meet them and just become involved in all of this, and just I can't say enough about them. They're true friends, and I'm so very thankful to be involved with my church, this ministry, to know them and become personal friends with them, and just to be able to serve. It's just been a blessing, and so I know probably none of you ever thought that I spent 7 years of my life in prison, but I did. And so I'm here now as a living testimony to what God, when God saves you, what God can do in your life, and that he can take a sinful, depraved person and turn their heart towards him and change a person's life. So